Hello and welcome to Manga Tora 96, and today we're going to talk about One Piece. Today's topic will be the fastest yet slowest man in the One Piece world, the man who doesn't seem that he can take anything seriously, and the man who seems like he smokes some kind of illegal substance 24/7. I'm of course talking about Borsalino, also known as Kizaru. This video will be the same style like my Straw Hat discussion videos were, where I will go over Kizaru's personality, his role in the story and his combat abilities. But before we start, here's a brief overview on who Kizaru is. Borsalino, more commonly known by his alias Kizaru, is an admiral in the Marines. After Aokiji resigned from the Marines and Akainu was promoted to Fleet Admiral, Kizaru is now the only remaining admiral from the previous trio. He was first mentioned by Robin during the Straw Hat's first encounter with Aokiji. Kizaru comes off as a laid-back, easygoing man who seems to take most things lightly, no matter the severity of the situation. He talks in a calm voice, suiting this demeanor, in a sarcastically intonated, slow manner with the last syllable of a sentence often drawn out. He is prone to beginning sentences with a stressed "oh," such as when observing something surprising or that piques his interest. With an ever-relaxed air in or out of combat, Kizaru is almost never shown losing his cool, raising his voice or getting excited to prompt action. With his logi abilities, he can afford remaining apathetic to most enemy attempts to harm him, playing extremely sudden or surprisingly potent attacks little to no mind if they come from much weaker opposition, to the point of not visibly reacting at all when shot in the head. Such attitude of the admiral often lapses into absent-mindedness, if not outright carelessness, that has him do things like repeatedly speak into a black denden mushi meant not for talk but wiretapping, or politely asking fleeing pirates who had just shot him if they could help him find his acquaintance. He has also been shown irresponsibly using his abilities with no regard for collateral damage, acting oblivious to the mass destruction that he threatens to bring on. This is seen when he felled a mangrove on Sabaton on self-admitted accident, then simply brushed it off. Additionally, Kizaru's casual attitude about whatever occurs around him may give way to the man leaving himself open to unsuspected assaults, such as watching his opponents unleash attacks without readying himself. Kizaru has been seen mid-battle remarking that it is scary or shocking when encountering someone powerful, bold, or who unleashes a surprising ability, where he typically retains a nonchalant face and tone, making him sound facetious. In fact, he has acted fearlessly around the strongest of pirates like Rayleigh, Ben Beckman, or Marco. While acknowledging their strength, Kizaru has no issue with battling them one-on-one. After Shanks came to Marineford to end the war, Kizaru tried one last attack on Luffy right after Beckman had held him at gunpoint just to prevent him from doing so. 2 years later, the Admiral volunteered to personally go break up a potential meeting between Emperor Big Mom and Kaido, which would entail going to the independent Wano country of which even Akainu is wary. In battle, Kizaru can be condescending towards those he deems weak, mocking them or those associated with them. During the Marineford War, he initially went out of his way to strike down Luffy, seeking to illustrate the gap in strength. He would go on to reproach Luffy for his inadequate strength and taunt Whitebeard for rallying behind the weaker pirate. Not much a leader and preferring to follow orders, even accepting ones from close subordinates, Kizaru has never been shown expressing sympathy for or against the philosophy of absolute justice, insistent going by his own motto of unclear justice. With no qualms about carrying out whatever orders given to him, he has acted more callous than the highly moral Bond, Aokiji and Fujitora, while not going out of his way to achieve justice throughout an extent as the extreme Akainu. He seemed inclined towards missions that do not require significant work, as he went to deal with the issue on Sabaton due to believing it will be over quickly and become annoyed when Rayleigh interfered. He may shift objectives on a whimsical basis, shown when on Sabodi he went from initially looking for Sentomaru to follow the original goal of his mission to then committing to an unrelated fight with 4 supernovas, yet once defeating them simply disregarding their capture upon being given a new instruction. Regardlessly, Kizaru acts disdainful towards pirates on a default basis and will not show them mercy. For example, he sees the Southern warlords of the sea as no more than pirates, and claims that a man like Rayleigh, despite having retired from piracy over 20 years earlier, could not have his crime forgiven as someone formerly known as the Dark King. After failing to capture Luffy on Sabaody, Kizaru instead went through with capturing 500 other pirates, showing that he may sway between either a more thorough or remissive execution of justice. Of all the admirals, Kizaru has displayed the most casual relationship with his fellow marines, if not genuine leadership qualities, from how he mentioned in passing to the giant squad to watch out for attacks from the sky after everyone witnessed him being kicked down by Marco, as well as giving advice to shoot through the head after volunteering to help the troops subdue the recently awakened Little Ors Jr. Kizaru's behavior is just as relaxed with his fellow admirals as it is with his subordinates, but still commands a great deal of respect upon his interaction with them. Sentomaru seems to have a high level of respect for him and calls Kizaru uncle, but he also chastises Kizaru for his absent-minded behavior. Upon Aquino's rise to fleet admiral, Kizaru became confident to share his counsel, often offering helpful advice and being someone for him to share his personal frustration over the growing threat of piracy, especially the Straw Hats. Kizaru has shown to be the closest thing Aquino has to a friend among the Marines. As an admiral, Kizaru ranks second only to Fleet Admiral Sakazuki, formerly Sengoku, in the Marines holding power over the many thousands of junior personnel. His authority entails commanding whole fleets, having sway on the overall strategy of headquarters, and using special purpose orders like enhancing a buster call on an island he judges a threat, or temporarily passing on other such privileges. The admiral being able to exercise those authorities duly and efficiently bespeaks a great deal of military leadership and coordination skills on his part. Combat-wise, Kizaru is among the strongest characters to appear in the story, his admiral rank having him and his compeers deemed not only the strongest active marine officers but crowned the greatest military force of the world government at large. His mere presence was enough to cause a mass panic on the Sabaody archipelago, including its entire pirate population, including most of the supernovas present at the time, to flee. While on the island, Kizaru was able to overwhelm 4 of said supernovas, albeit individually, with minimal effort, dealing each defeat in a single blow after none had been able so much as touch him. Thereafter, Kizaru entered in a one-on-one sword combat with an old Silver Rayleigh, the former right hand of the Pirate King. Though Rayleigh held the admiral's entire focus by Kizaru's own admonition, Kizaru further considered that they were to make an honest attempt at capturing the pirate legend, even he would require reinforcement. Both men ended their duel in conjecturally fine condition, Kizaru unharmed beside a small cut on his cheek. Kizaru would go on before leaving Sabaody to capture a total of 500 pirates off panel. The Summit War saw Kizaru battling, if only briefly, several of Whitebeard's division commanders, including the Emperor's right hand Marco, and later Whitebeard himself, whom he was able to seriously injure on equal footage. Whitebeard and Marco being the only pirates to prompt the admiral to fight seriously in any measure. Also, despite his more or less constant involvement in the fighting that went on, Kizaru was ultimately one of the few people to emerge from the war wholly unscathed, not a mark to show for it. Even as a vice admiral over 10 years ago, Kizaru was already very powerful, at least enough so to take down Arlong, a quite powerful fisherman with such ease. Befitting his admiral rank, Kizaru's physical prowess is immense, his raw strength enough for him to trade equal blows with an elder yet still extremely powerful Rayleigh, and engage Whitebeard himself face to face, even pinning down the latter's large Naginata underfoot with what seemed casual ease. Generally, Kizaru's melee attack style emphasized incredible potent, heavy kicks via his ability to move at the speed of light. In terms of durability, Kizaru could shrug off being kicked out of the sky by the Haki using Marco, which broke his one-arm guard and sent him crashing into the ground with immense force. Without a scratch, though his transformation into light prior to impact may have allowed for this. While most of Kizaru's feats pertain to speed derived from his beloved explained ability to transform into light, the Admiral's coordination of his lightning speed movements, from his kicks to traveling from place to place with nonchalant yet unerring precision, suggests a high level of natural perception and a reflex speed. The same applies to the strength observed from most of Kizaru's physical kicking attacks, to come drastically enhanced in the weight and force by the Admiral's power to move as light, making the natural strength of his kicks difficult to gauge. Otherwise, the Admiral has shown impressive dexterity, able to balance himself on a shot, flying cannonballs well enough to casually stand upon it, as well as rather acute hearing, able to notice underwater activity from hundreds of meters away. Kizaru ate the Pika Pika no Mi, a Logia type Delve that allows him to create control and transform his body into light. Among other things, he is able to move, travel and perform kicks at the speed of light, shoot laser beams and blind his opponents. For offensive, Kizaru can shoot powerful laser beams from his fingertips at the bottom of his feet, which can easily pierce through, flash and or set off massive heat-based explosions. He can fire a single laser beam with pinpoint accuracy or unleash a massive gatling of laser bullets over a wide area. By turning his body into light, Kizaru can move at light speed, allowing him to maneuver around the battlefield without his enemies being able to keep up, unless they have sufficiently well-developed observation haki. He can make his light body shift in places, allowing him to instantly reposition himself at a different location on the battlefield, and can also send out of a beam of light that he can merge with and travel on to reach an intended location. Satellite beam can only follow a straight line, though it can be reflected off of surfaces in a mirror-like fashion, allowing the beam and thus Kizaru to travel in zigzag. His light speed mobility allows Kizaru to enhance his melee attacks by kicking at the speed of light. The kick is given massive momentum, greatly increasing its force and allowing him to deal tremendous damage to his opponents. Additionally, Kizaru can stun and blind his opponents by emitting super bright flash of light, and for close quarter combats he can even form a sword out of pure, solidified light. He also possesses both armament haki and observation haki. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover about Kizaru in this video. And that will be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content, as well as other manga content, and until next time, take care.